Today's video is part hair tutorial and part discussion about hair. We're going to talk hair loss, all the questions I get frequently. Why is my hair thinning? Why is my hair falling out? What can I do to make my hair thicker? Questions like that we will answer today, and I'll share some solutions for you while you watch me do this hairstyle. I think it's cute if I say so myself. Sit back and relax and let's talk hair. If you're a returning subscriber, you know I keep it very real here. So I'm starting off with dry, crusty hair. It's clean, but it's very dry. So while we do my hair, we're going to talk about hair loss and hair thinning from a medical point of view, but also from a stylist point of view, because I am someone that is an unofficial hairstylist. I've been doing hair for years. Wigs, weaves, crochet hair. I've had relaxed hair. I've had natural hair. I still currently have natural hair. I wear a lot of wigs for tutorials, but also for my own enjoyment and as protective styles. And I still have a thick head of hair at over age 50. So I think I'm qualified to talk about hair, okay? So that brief introduction is for anyone who might be new. Okay, before we get started with the discussion, can I just show you the inspiration behind today's hairstyle, or what I'm trying to get at? Look at all these Afrocentric, Afro-futuristic hairstyles. Some by Bella Sophia Styles. Really nice, right? Anyway, I'm not going to come anything close to that, but I'm going to try something different. Okay, let's get started. Hair loss or thinning. In no particular order, let's talk about the causes, and then later we'll talk about treatments. So, number one, rapid weight loss. Rapid weight loss, for whatever reason, can cause significant hair loss or hair thinning. And you may have experienced that. Just like people who are taking GLP-1 medications for weight loss, you may notice they will have significant hair loss or hair thinning, losing the density or the amount of hair. And some of that is due to having a poor diet or a suboptimal caloric intake. They may not be absorbing as much nutrients as they did in the past. Or if you've had weight loss surgery, then you know or have seen people also with significant hair thinning. So if you're lacking fruits and vegetables and significant protein, or you have some sort of absorption issue when it comes to, your GI system, then that will contribute to significant hair loss. Another reason for hair loss or hair thinning is hormonal changes. Hormonal changes due to, say, pregnancy or postpartum after pregnancy or menopause. For example, during menopause, there is a significant drop in the estrogen levels, and that contributes to hair loss. Some women may experience hair loss or hair thinning as early as in their 40s during perimenopause, which can really affect their self-esteem, right? It may be a general thinness, or it might be androgenic female alopecia, which is like a male pattern baldness or male pattern hair loss. So you might get hair loss around the temples. Also, you might get hair loss around the top of the head, or the hairline itself starts to recede. And again, this might be due to an increase in the amount of androgens, an imbalance of the ratio as estrogen starts to decline. I said we'll talk about treatments for hair loss later, but particularly when it comes to women going through menopause, those that are on estrogen replacement or HRT, hormone therapy, often, state that their symptoms of hair loss or hair thinning improve on those medications. Now, of course, you want to keep in mind there are pros and cons to taking hormone replacement, right? Maybe you're on it due to hot flashes or mood swings or weight gain or, visceral fat. But of course, depending on your medical history, not everyone is eligible for hormone replacement therapy because there are some significant side effects or significant risks. Yeah. Another reason for hair thinning or hair loss is just general health concerns. So if you have a new illness, or if, again, poor nutrition, or you're on new or certain medications that can take your hair out or cause hair loss. Autoimmune conditions, so things like lupus or autoimmune conditions can cause hair loss. Alopecia areata, alopecia totalis, alopecia universalis, where all of your hair falls off. So there are different types of alopecia, but one that is not autoimmune and is typically self-inflicted is tension alopecia, as I'm pulling my hair up, but I never pull up my hair too tight. Anyway, tension alopecia or traction alopecia is a very common reason after years and years of tight braids and wig glues. So for example, when you get your hair braided and it is so tight and you start to itch or patch your head, it's because your scalp is irritated, especially when you see bumps. The follicles are being pulled and damaged almost permanently in many cases, and eventually you're going to end up with a shiny bald spot in that area. Another reason for hair loss or hair thinning is hypothyroidism, which is an underactive thyroid. People are often tired or sluggish or weight gain along with that, or you may not even have any significant symptoms, which is why you need to have your labs checked. But anyway, you might notice some hair loss, especially at the end of your eyebrows, not just on your scalp. And of course, in general, stress can cause hair loss. Earlier, I mentioned tension alopecia was self-inflicted, but think about all the other things you do to your hair that is also self-inflicted, causing hair loss over time. Excessive processing, excessive relaxers, dyes, all these harsh chemicals. So it's not just the tight braids and the tight ponytails and the tight weaves. It's also all of these chemicals that we're putting in our hair. Also excessive heat. If you are excessively flat ironing your hair or hot combing your hair over time, you might notice that you lose hair. Another reason you might be experiencing hair thinning or hair loss or hair breakage is the fact that you're just too rough with your hair, especially if you have natural type 4 hair that's fine and you are just combing it super rough without moisturizing it, without making sure that it still has elasticity. You're going to end up with a lot of breakage. You may have noticed earlier, I never use a comb unless it's on a small section of hair at a time, and I always make sure my hair is moisturized either with just a little bit of water or some sort of cream. And even then, I always finger detangle first before I use a comb. Anyway, we're making a little progress with this hairstyle, aren't we? Another overlooked reason for hair loss or hair thinning is working out. But working out causes you to have damp hair. And if you're allowing your hair to sit for long periods after working out, you're going to develop fungal infections. And fungal infections of the scalp cause hair loss. So it's important to frequently wash your hair and make sure that it is clean and dry. Often what we think is just excessive dandruff may actually be a fungal infection of the scalp, and it will take out your hair. I can braid very well, but I can't braid very well on myself. I can braid very well on other people, but braiding well on myself is a challenge. So if this doesn't look good, we're going to brush this whole thing back. Because I haven't done this in a while. I'm trying to be all creative with this braid, but I am struggling. Anyway, let's talk about genetics. Genetics has a lot to do with your hair thickness, your hair density, right? Look at the women in your family. What does their hair look like? Sometimes that's just how God made you. Whether you have super thick hair or super thin hair, sometimes nothing is wrong. You know, you might be the healthiest person, but for whatever reason, your hair is still super thin. Earlier, I mentioned the importance of nutrition when it comes to hair thinning or hair loss. Specifically, I want you now to pay attention to vitamin deficiencies. So let's say you're the type of person who feels like your hair used to be thick or it used to be thicker and now it just seems to be falling out and super thin. It could well be that you have a vitamin deficiency. Specifically, I'm going to tell you the vitamins you need to ask your provider or medical doctor to check, because it's not always standard, meaning that just because you had some standard labs doesn't mean that these particular labs were actually checked, okay? And it doesn't mean that your doctor is bad. You just need to make sure you ask specifically and tell them that you're concerned about hair loss. So number one, have your iron checked, right? Because you know people who are anemic will have thin hair or brittle hair. You might start to notice a receding hairline. So have your iron and your ferritin, which is your iron stores, checked. Have a vitamin D level checked, vitamin E, vitamin C, and vitamin B12. So these are the labs responsible for hair loss or hair density. And if you are deficient, you're going to notice the change in your hair. Okay, let's switch gears for a little bit. Okay, so I've told you the different reasons for hair loss or hair thinning. So now the next question is, can your hair grow back once you've lost it? Well, the answer to that is it depends, right? It depends. Sometimes it can and sometimes it cannot, because it depends on the cause. If it's perhaps due to a hormonal issue, or is it due to diet? Is it due to a lack of vitamin? Or is it due to years of tension alopecia and now you've lost your hairline, destroyed the follicles, and you've got this shiny bald area of scalp? Can it grow back? But anyway, let me share some of the available treatments, keeping in mind that you should have seen a board-certified dermatologist first to figure out what the cause is, or at least a trichologist. So number one, Minoxidil.
All right, y'all, I'm about to get real up close and personal with y'all, okay? Do not judge me. This is a no judgment zone. I have been fully persuaded, okay? If y'all have not heard of this product right here, Minoxidil. Yes, I'm trying to make sure I pronounce it right. All the girlies that are struggling with their edges have been talking about this Minoxidil, okay? And I have been trying to find out what is the deal, because my edges have been struggling for years, okay? I don't get into what had happened, but just know that I got 15 cents worth of edges, okay? And I'm tired of that. I want to wear a slick back ponytail too. I went ahead, went to Walmart, got me a three-month supply. Supposed to see some results in like the first 8 weeks. I'm gonna find out. I just started using this. I took my braids out. I just put my hair in a little ponytail. Y'all see what I see? Like, look at this. Hold on. This is perfect. So yes, I'm bald. Y'all already know that. I'm bald in the front. I've been taking a little time off because, like I said, I got real fat and depressed and I was sad. My skin was breaking out. I haven't been making videos. And plus, y'all, I lost a lot of my hair from using Minoxidil. It works. It really works, but you have to do a lifetime commitment with Minoxidil. I did it for like, I'm gonna say 7-8 days. I started noticing hair is going to grow, but I went on a trip to where I go. I went to Georgia. Y'all, I forgot my Minoxidil. That was 3 days without it. Then I got home. Didn't use it for 2 days. That's 5 days, baby. My hair was falling out.
I'm hungry, y'all. I'm gonna take a quick break, get something to eat. I want some fruit. Peaches. There's nothing like summer, like the smell of peaches. I also have some avocado that's finally ripe. You know how avocados, 1 minute it's hard, next minute it goes ripe, and then it goes bad. So I'm missing the broccoli. Typically, I always have either some steamed broccoli or steamed cabbage. But yeah, just some leftovers, beans and chicken and onions, so lots of protein. And oh, my egg. She's almost done. seasoning, a little black pepper. And this is just some unsweetened coconut water with pulp. This is your reminder to stay hydrated because that too matters to the quality of your hair. And then this is another meal. I know it looks almost the same as the last one, but I have broccoli and steamed spinach. I just want you to see I eat quite a bit of vegetables whenever possible because it matters. Okay, back to my hair and the discussion about hair loss and treatments. Another topical medication for hair thinning or hair loss is actually an antifungal, ketoconazole. So ketoconazole can be found over the counter in the form of a shampoo. So it may be called Nizoral.
If you use ketoconazole shampoo, you will stop hair loss and stimulate hair growth. If you use ketoconazole shampoo as a face wash, it will improve your fungal acne, aka pityrosporum folliculitis. If you have rosacea and use ketoconazole shampoo as a face wash, it will help with redness. If you use ketoconazole shampoo as body wash, it will treat ringworms, aka fungal infection of the body. If you use ketoconazole shampoo as a face wash, it will treat your seborrheic dermatitis, which is due to yeast overgrowth. If you use ketoconazole shampoo, you will improve hair loss, fungal acne, rosacea, ringworms, seborrheic dermatitis.
This right here is ketoconazole shampoo. The brand name is Nizoral, but the drug ketoconazole, it's an antifungal. It fights off the yeast that causes dandruff, malassezia. But there's also some evidence that ketoconazole can help with certain types of hair loss that are influenced by your hormones, namely androgenetic alopecia, which happens in both men and women. Don't expect miracles, but using this regularly may, in the long run, help your hair growth journey out. Make sure you direct the lather to your scalp, however, not to the ends of your hair. You don't need to use this every single day, just a couple of times a week. You could try using it every single day, but it is a touch on the drying side. And you can also use it as a body wash if you struggle with that condition called tinea versicolor. Because guess who causes that? Same little yeast, malassezia.
If you use anti-dandruff shampoo, you'll decrease hair fall. If you use pumpkin seed oil, you'll reduce hormonal hair thinning. If you use anti-dandruff shampoo and pumpkin seed oil, you'll decrease hair fall and reduce hormonal hair thinning. If you use Minoxidil, you'll activate hair growth. If you use anti-dandruff shampoo, pumpkin seed oil, and Minoxidil, you'll decrease hair fall, reduce hormonal hair thinning, and activate hair growth. If you use scalp massage, you'll increase hair thickness. If you use anti-dandruff shampoo, pumpkin seed oil, Minoxidil, and scalp massage, you'll decrease hair fall, reduce hormonal hair thinning, activate hair growth, and increase hair thickness.
Another available treatment for hair thinning or hair loss is LED light. So it's a red light therapy. And I've heard mixed reviews. Some people say that it's a gimmick, it doesn't work. Some people swear by it. I think it also depends on the specific wavelength of the red light. Keep in mind, red light therapy can be pricey, but they have come up with smaller ones that are available for home use. Again, I do not know for sure the efficacy, but here are.
So FDA studies have shown that red light therapy is effective for hair growth in both men and women. Disguised as this cool little baseball hat, you turn it on, you put it on for about 10 minutes a day. It revitalizes the scalp and supports healthy hair growth. It goes deep, and you can see with the studies that over time, you're gonna see less shedding and more hair growth. The results are undeniable.
Thinking about a red light helmet for hair loss, as a dermatologist, here's what the science actually shows. Low-level laser or light therapy uses red around 650 nanometers or near-infrared light to stimulate hair follicles. It's FDA cleared in helmets, caps, and combs. A major randomized controlled trial showed a statistically significant uptick in hair coverage, about a 14% increase after 24 weeks, comparing low-level light therapy versus a sham device. A 2020 meta-analysis of several FDA-approved home-use devices found significant improvement in hair density, a standard mean difference of 1.27 with comb and helmet style low-level laser therapy. Another 24-week helmet trial showed increased hair density and thickness and reduced scalp oiliness in 73% of participants. A recent randomized controlled trial combining low-level light therapy with topical minoxidil outperformed minoxidil alone in strengthening mid-scalp hairs. It is possible that red light helmets can help with pattern hair loss, but consistency matters. You have to use them 3 to 5 times a week for at least 6 months, ideally alongside topical minoxidil or oral finasteride. Talk to your board-certified dermatologist to determine what's the best treatment for your hair loss. Also, these red light devices might not work for your type of hair loss. There are many different types of hair loss. I run a hair loss clinic at UC Davis, and I get this question all the time. Make sure you know what you're treating when you try one of these.
Another more invasive procedure for hair loss or hair thinning is PRP injections, which are platelet-rich plasma injections, which help infuse growth factors into the area of interest, right? So you need to make sure you're getting this from a board-certified dermatologist or plastic surgeon.
PRP for hair loss is the way forward. Now, these are the results from a combination of my hair growing back from a hair transplant and 3 sessions of PRP. I'm going to explain what PRP is for you in a second, but I just want to show you the results after the treatment I've had. You can see the hair is wet, so the hair is going to look thinner than it actually is. But I have been to Club Aesthetics for the past 3 sessions of PRP, and this is basically the process. They start by taking vials of blood, maybe 2 to 4 vials of blood, and they spin it really, really fast, and they split the red blood cells and the white blood cells, and that's what the golden goodness is, the white blood cells. And these basically help to reinvigorate the hair follicles and help heal the scalp at the same time. Now, PRP is a process, same as many aesthetic processes, right? It does take time. You need a number of sessions to help the hair grow back and help come back thicker and fuller, but it is something that you may need to have over a certain number of times.
We want this to be erect. Now, for some people, none of the options I've mentioned, minoxidil or Rogaine or ketoconazole or LED light or even scalp massage or PRP injections, none of those things are going to be viable options or work. You yourself may have tried all the options I have mentioned. Please let us know in the comments what's worked or what has not worked. Anyway, for some people, shaving off their head is the only option, or getting an expensive hair transplant. Some people go to places like Turkey for a hair transplant.
I flew to Istanbul, Turkey back in August of 2023 to get a hair transplant done due to traction alopecia that I suffered as a kid from getting too tight micro braids and also from getting too tight sew-ins in my early 20s. It pulled all my edges out. I got my hair transplant done at Heva Clinic. Highly recommend them, y'all. Best clinic ever. I still have no complaints to this day. As you can see, I chose to shave off all of my hair. Again, I chose to do so. It's not a requirement. I just wanted a fresh start and wanted my hair to grow in evenly. And it was also just part of a self-love journey that I was on, where I just wanted to learn to love and embrace all of me after hiding behind wigs for so long. Now in the video, you'll see, like in the beginning stages, I went through the shock loss phase where the transplanted hairs will fall out, but not to worry, the hairs do grow back in. And you'll see that in the video, the recipient area starts to fill back in. My donor area filled back in. It looks untouched. So if you've been thinking about getting a hair transplant, but you've been scared or nervous or whatever, just do it. It's so worth it. It's so worth it in the end. I'm loving my results. I have my edges back. Again, my donor area looks untouched. And now I'm able to do all of the protective styles I've always wanted to do but couldn't.
Anyway, I'm finally done with this experimental hairstyle, okay? This is look number 1. And does it look like it's unfinished? This is look number 2. Just do a swoop, to the side with the twists or braids and lay it flat. If I were really going out, I wouldn't leave the pin in, okay? So this is just for demonstration purposes. But yeah, have fun. And then I'm just pulling down the sides, as you can see, a little bit there. And what? Look number 4. Okay. So really, this next look that I'm about to do, where I take one layer at a time and then lay the next layer on top of that, is really what I intended. That was the look I was actually going for. Now, if I was doing it for real, I would sew it down. because otherwise they're going to move out of place. But you see what I'm doing there? Laying one layer or one row on top of the other. And there we are. That's my Afrocentric look or Afrofuturistic look. I hope you found this video about hair loss informative. As you have just heard, there are so many different reasons for hair loss or hair thinning. Make sure you are evaluated appropriately and make sure you are given treatment options depending on what the cause is for your hair loss or hair thinning. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.